How can you break a bad habit? To understand this, let's look at the root of the problem. If it's a bad habit you do repeatedly, it's called an addiction, right? And all addictions begin in the mind. When you imagine how it would feel when you undertake the activity which you consider addictive, and once you start imagining and feeling, you are unable to control your own body and mind, and you end up doing that thing. And that addiction can quite literally be anything, whether be it watching porn or video games or anything. You would know better. But you need to realize that it all begins in the mind when you start imagining things. All actions are preceded by imagination. Think about it. Have you ever taken an action without thinking about it first? Even if it's just for a brief moment, or even if it's a habit, at some point in time, you first thought about it and then you acted. So, how about we change our imaginations? I'm reading this book called The Magic of Believing. I'll show you. The Magic of Believing. And in this book, there's a mention of a French doctor who says that imagination is a much stronger force than willpower. And when the two are in conflict, imagination always wins. Let's put it into perspective. Let's imagine you love playing video games, and by your sheer willpower, you decide not to touch your gaming console till Saturday. But then what happens? You start imagining stuff. You start imagining switching on your gaming console, your game, and then you start imagining playing the game, getting all the dopamine from doing the missions. Guess what will eventually happen? You will end up breaking your promise on the same day. And you can't argue with me on this because this is what happens with you. But don't worry, it happens with me and everyone else in the world. And now that we know the problem, we can get to solving it. Because the first step to solve any problem is to become aware of it. Now, let me give you a step by step method on how you would break a bad habit. Let's imagine it's a Tuesday and you decide not to play on your PS5 till Saturday. Alright? So on day 1, by willpower, you are successful in your endeavor. And on day 2, you start giving yourself rational excuses on why it's okay to play just 1 hour every single day. And on day 3, you start forming mental pictures of how it would feel playing the game. But stop. Stop right there. When you start forming mental pictures, you need to blink and cure your brain. Remember this, blink and cure your brain. So now instead of imagining how you would feel playing the game, you start imagining how you would feel on that Saturday when you are proud of yourself for keeping the promise to yourself. Let's do an activity. I want you to pause this video right now and think about what particular addiction do you want to break. Just pause and reflect on it. Once you have an answer, I want you to close your eyes and fully immerse yourself in the feeling of how it would feel when you have control over your addiction. How proud you would feel when you are superior to your addiction. How proud you would feel when you have power over it. When it's not the one controlling you, but you are the one controlling it. How proud you would feel when you are able to keep a promise to yourself. It works. But be aware of the fact that your mind will wander off again in all directions. But now you know how to bring it back to sanity. It will wander off, you bring it back. Wander off, you bring it back. Wander off, you bring it back. And eventually, the frequency of how frequently it wanders off will reduce. There are many methods to break a bad habit or an addiction, but knowing how to keep your imagination in control will truly set you free. I hope you all learned something. And if you have anything to say, you can just drop it in the comments. I'll read it. Cheers, man.